If you're looking for more ideas on congregational playing, make sure you check out our playlist on YouTube. We have several tutorials. Register for our hymn playing webinar on September 11th, 2023. It's happening at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can register on our website, newmerciesmusic.com. I'd love to have you there. If you're unable to make it, check out our church pianist resources on our website. We have several resources teaching you how to play hymns, giving you the tools for that. Also, substitutions, modulations, how to be a church pianist. All of these resources available for you. Check those out. And if this was a help to you, please give us a thumbs up. Let us know in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. This week is part 2 to 'Tis So Sweet to Trust in Jesus. If you didn't catch last week's, you're going to want to go ahead and look at that. We looked at the verse, and that verse is going to transition seamlessly into this chorus. And I talked about using the verse last week for maybe verse 2 or verse 3. And let me kind of refresh and play that verse so you can hear what it sounds like. And then we're going to jump into part 2. So now as we're looking at this chorus, let's first talk about some chord substitutions. And like I said, you're going to want to catch part 1 because a lot of the things I'm going to say today, I'm not going to explain as much as I did in part 1. Also, if you're not as familiar with chord substitutions and you want to learn more about it, grab our chord substitutions book. It's called The Art of Substitutions. It's going to walk you through the theory behind it, understanding chords. It's going to walk you through basic substitutions, more advanced substitutions, and really give you tools you need with examples and lead sheets on how to substitute and listening for more unique chords. Now, as we look at this chorus, let's kind of lay a groundwork for what we have in the hymn book as far as the chords go. So starting off with the chorus, Jesus, Jesus, how I trust him. If we were to label those chords, Jesus starts us off with an A flat chord. When we get to how, we're going to a E flat 7 chord. And then on I, F minor, trust, A flat, E flat. Now how I've proved A flat, E flat, B flat 7, and then E flat. So let's kind of take just that phrase right here. So last week I talked about when you have a 1 chord, which our 1 chord is A flat, the minor 6 substitutes beautifully for that, even in congregational playing, because they share a lot of the same chord tones. There's your 1 chord, your A flat chord. If we were to play the minor 6, so if you notice, they share the same chord tones, and if we were to add E flat to this F minor, it's an F minor 7, so it works beautifully. So what we're going to do, instead of playing the A flat chord for that whole measure, we're going to substitute the first 2 beats, A flat, then the second 2 beats, F minor. And that's really going to lead us to the next chord that I want to use after that. On the word how, it's an E flat or a 5 chord. And last week I talked about how the minor 2, which in this key is B flat minor, substitutes beautifully for that 5. So in the word how, we're going to go ahead and do B flat minor. And we're not going to worry about changing on the word I because that melody fits beautifully into a B flat minor 7. So I don't really need to change that chord. How, I. Now on trust, we're going to go for an A flat with E flat in the bass. And then we're going to do a chord that we didn't look at last week on the word hymn. And this one will not work for congregational playing. It'll work beautifully for prelude playing, but it will cause a problem in congregational playing. So just put that aside. If you don't have instruments playing with you and you're just playing as the accompanist, you can go ahead and try to add it in. It might throw off some of your congregational singers, but it is a beautiful chord. So we have trust him. We're going to use this C major 7 chord. Now, this chord works beautifully. If you notice, I had an E flat in my bass. I'm going from an A flat chord to the next measure. I'm going to substitute the word how for F minor. So I'm going from A flat to F minor. And if I look at this C major 7, notice my bass is going to walk up in half steps. So that's a really nice bass, but here's how we figure out if this chord works. So if we look in the key of F, let's transition our brains briefly. In the key of F, C is the 5 chord of the key of F. So this C7 leads beautifully to an F or an F minor. If we were in F minor, C7 or 5-7 would lead beautifully to its minor 1. So I can throw in this beautiful transition chord because it's the 5 of my minor 6. And it gives a really nice leading. Now we explain that more in depth in the chord substitutions book. Now I'm on this F minor on how, and now we're going to go back to A flat, which it is improved, except remember we talked about last week a nice bass motion, so I'm not going to go to root position. And then on or and or, we're going to go right to that B flat major chord. We're not going to go to E flat first, so it's B flat major, and then last week same chord we talked about, B flat minor over E flat, E flat, and now we're going to pull back in the same ideas that we put on the chord or on the verse. We're going to pull it into the chorus to create this really seamless transition, so it feels like we've planned out this nice flow for this verse and chorus. So let me play this whole concept with these chords, and then I'm going to talk about this left hand. So we have this big chorus, and my left hand is going to do a rhythmic pattern where it's going to come up and play the chord. And our pattern is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and breaking away from it. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. Now we're going to pull back the flowing pattern from the verse, okay, just to make some cohesion there. So by taking that left hand rhythmic pattern and then recognizing the chords I have available, now I have this really nice, big, and full chorus. So if I were to play this in context, here's what it would sound like.